Morning. Between 1995 and 2003, 12 women in Spartanburg County were the victims of criminal sexual conduct or attempted criminal sexual conduct. All the offenses occurred at apartment complexes in the early morning hours, and from interviewing the witnesses, a subject description was developed. The victims in the cases described the offender as a black male, 5'10" to 6 feet tall, 160 to 180 pounds, well-spoken, wearing dark clothing, neither a ball cap or toboggan. The suspect's actions in all the incidents were also very similar in nature, leading investigators to believe that all offenses were committed by the same person. Once the results of the DNA analysis came back on the completed criminal sexual conduct cases, it was confirmed all the incidents were committed by the same person. Despite numerous potential suspects being interviewed and their DNA collected and analyzed, the results never revealed the suspect. Further compounding the investigation is the suspect never established a pattern, as evidenced by a gap of 16 months, 20 months, and 37 months between incidents. All the victims were white females, and their ages ranged from 14 to 51 years old. One of the victims was targeted twice, a total of 13 incidents. Approximately 6 months ago, investigators of both the Spartanburg City Police Department and the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office began looking at these cases from a different perspective. Officers began an aggressive new look at the cases with specific emphasis on the forensics evidence. Technological advances allowed investigative teams to expand their review of the cases. Investigators from both agencies worked tirelessly, reviewing all of the old cases, re-interviewing victims, identifying potential family members or possible suspects, collecting new DNA samples, and sending that evidence to the State Law Enforcement Division, or SLED, for analysis. We received notification from SLED last week that through their analysis, a suspect with the matching DNA profile had been identified. That profile matched the evidence collected from the victims of 6 of the completed criminal sexual conduct cases. The suspect has been identified as Gregory Howard Fry, black male, date of birth 8/8/1966, resides at 121 Clint Court, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29307. Fry was arrested by investigators from both agencies yesterday and transported to the Spartanburg Police Department. He is charged with 1 count of burglary, first-degree kidnapping, and criminal sexual conduct. First degree for one of the incidents in the county. Additional charges are pending, and Fry went before a magistrate last night who informed him he would have to appear before a circuit court judge for arraignment at a later date. You all will be provided Mr. Fry's booking photo, copies of the incident report and warrants, a composite that was done early in the investigation, and a timeline of the offenses that provides the dates and locations. Both Spartanburg agencies have been in contact with the neighboring agencies in order to allow them to review any similar cases that may have occurred in their jurisdictions. 2 of Fry's incidents occurred in the city limits of Spartanburg, and the remaining 11 incidents occurred in the county. Sheriff.
Thank you, Chief. This is just a really good example of what happens when you let the smart people in your office do the work and leave them alone and provide them the resources. All the team members over here had a hand in it, but there were 4 that I'm going to call out specifically. Lorena Paella, Diane Lessage, William Reese, and Caitlin Horn. Miss Horn, they work for Miss Horn and Mr. Reese work for the city. You know, I was thinking about this and praying about it. I can't imagine how some of the victims must have felt knowing that it took this long, you know, and it wasn't from a lack of effort on law enforcement's part. It wasn't that we weren't doing everything that we could do. It's just that some things caught up and helped us out with this. This is a great day to know that we got at least one person that's going to be held accountable for a reign of terror that he's caused for these victims. These victims are stronger than that. These victims are, wow, I mean, they're really inspirational. I appreciate very much the team, both city and the county. And this is what we keep preaching on about. If you just work together and quit worried about jurisdiction lines, and we don't here. We just find out where the need is and who needs to be doing it, and we just do it. So I'm very thankful for the cooperation between both agencies. Sometimes those things get lost in the shuffle about whose case it is and whatever, and it did not this time. I'm going to show you a picture of this fellow. And we know that he is not originally from Clint Street. He's from the Inman area. He worked at a local business, going about his business like nothing was happening. I'm honored to stand here before you today and tell you that with the good, dedicated work of some good men and women and some other things for some people that asked not to be mentioned, I'm really proud to tell you that we made a big deal here today. I want you to pray for the victims. And I know it's really hard to hate this guy, but that's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to hate what he did, not hate him. But I do want you to know that they have worked very tirelessly for the victims in these cases, and I'm super proud to be a part of their team. So we'll entertain questions if you have any.
This has taken 24 years.
Yeah, sure has.
How does it feel to know that you've been able to accomplish this arrest?
Well, I'm ecstatic about it. I mean, because it was one of those cases that, we weren't sure who, what, when, and where for sure. We just didn't know. And technology caught up with us, and thank God the technology caught up with us. And these guys and girls are smart enough to use the technology, because we got a lot of technology, but don't ask me to use it. These are the smart ones here, and the ones that stayed the course. Both city and county. So we work very seamlessly together, and I'm so proud. I'm proud to be a part of this. I really am. This is great.
Can you explain what mistake he may have made that allowed you to find out?
No, I'm not going to go into any kind of details like that, because some things I need to keep the integrity of the case, and that's the only reason. But technology caught up with it, and prayers have been answered. I just want you to know that. There's been a lot of people praying that we would catch a break, and we did. And not only did we catch a break, we ran with it. So.
Why bring it up again?
I'm sorry?
After all those years, why bring it up again? Why start on it again?
Well, they weren't solved. I mean, just because something is that old doesn't mean that we don't still care about it, and when we get new leads on it. The victims are that important to take 24 years. They're important enough for us to keep pounding. So
it's 12 victims over 13 cases, right?
It could be more than that. We don't know yet. We're still kind of in the baby stages of this, but we're going to see. We want to make sure that whatever we charge him with, we're 100% sure of. We don't want to clear up any cases just because the MO fits. So,
has he ever been a suspect before? I mean, is this the first time his name was brought up?
I don't think we've ever spoke of him.
I will say this, obviously we will not discuss sources and methods during this particular conference, this press conference. But yes, it's technology, but I still say that the creative minds, the dedicated professionals that's to our left here,
that's right,
is what broke this case.
Absolutely.
It's still good old-fashioned police work, asking questions, never giving up. And why bring it up now? These folks were still victimized. And if it will somehow give them some peace and some closure, it may have caused some initial pain by bringing this 15, 20, 16, 20, years later, whatever the case may be. But it's still worth doing, as the sheriff mentioned, because it was a crime, it was committed, and hopefully they will find some peace and be able to move forward with their lives as a result of this incident.
I can tell you that the chief and I both, we don't like it when we don't have unsolved cases. I mean, it don't matter if it's just a larceny. We don't like unsolved cases at all. We don't like to feel like that we've let the victims down in any way. And this is the face of the team that don't let victims down. That's the reason why we brought this up 24 years later. And I'm proud, very proud.
And I just want to reiterate something that the sheriff said also, that the sense of the teamwork, the collaboration, that's so important. Oftentimes the person who commit criminal offenses, they don't have boundary lines or jurisdictional lines. We do. But we overcome that by partnering with each other, sharing information, sharing resources, and that's so extremely important. It's easy to be siloed and be in people's own little world, and a little good-natured ribbon and whatnot. A competition is a good thing, but at the end of the day, we're all on the same team. And I also like to commend the Solicitor's Office, because they've been involved with this from the very beginning of this investigation, or these investigations also. So, but it's very important that all of us in the criminal justice system, and in this case, we do what we can to bring those who are responsible for criminal offenses to justice, and do it the right way. Again, we've had the technology advances and whatnot. Those things are fantastic. They're great. We're still learning how to use those tools and do it within the confines of the law, and that is what we did in this case.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the old saying, just to reiterate what he says, I can pick on the chief, but you can't, because we're brothers. And look, I don't want to stand up here and take any more time away from the smart minds and the fact that we got a pretty bad predator off the road there. So,
I know you mentioned that he did this in apartments every time. How did he gain access into these homes?
we'll let you know that as soon as we are willing to release all that stuff.
Yeah, please remember, we made the identification
Right.
and apprehension, but we still got a case to try, or cases to try. And
Right.
some of that information is very important as it come out in those trials.
So when did you bring him in again?
I'm sorry?
When did you apprehend
We
him?
together arrested him yesterday,
Yesterday.
and we decided to take him to the city because they have much better facilities than we do as far as the technology of where we could all watch and see what this guy was saying. So,
One- I don't know about the
well,
facilities.
yeah,
but we can
it's
debate
bigger than mine. So.
Okay, but if I can say this, the people down on the other side of the wall just want to recognize the rest of them too. We can, we have Lieutenant Mark Hillers there, Zed Guthrow, Major Steve Ladd, Lieutenant Harwell.
I have Captain Steve Cooper and Sergeant Tracy Moss, and they're the ones that pretty much keep things off of those team members and let them go stay focused on that. So it was really a big effort. I'm telling you, it was a really big effort. So.
Can they give us any simple examples of some of the technology, maybe how you used it, anything that you could say? That
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Well, there are more cases that need to be investigated, and again, when sharing sources and methods is nothing that we want to do because it may help us resolve other incidents.
Yeah.
Does Referee Fry have any criminal background or any history of this kind of?
Nothing of this kind. I don't know if he's got any traffic tickets or anything like that. He didn't stick out on the radar too bad, so just let you know.
And I know you'd mentioned it was difficult to identify a pattern when you guys were investigating this case initially. Now that you have identified a suspect and arrested him, have you been able to figure out how he targeted these women? Or?
Still trying. Yeah, that's
Still
a
working
part of the
it out.
process. Yes, sir.
And what were their age ranges?
14 to 51.
Other jurisdictions, are those pretty close by that you have reached out to and given us?
Yes, we have. Absolutely.
Other counties? Other
Absolutely.
cities?
Other states, too.
Other states.
You said he works, where does he work?
The local business, I'm not going to name that business because they didn't have nothing to do with it.
Was he in a position to hurt other
No,
teenagers?
no, I don't think so.
Does the victim's advocate have anything to say by chance, or if they're here?
I don't see any of them here today. So this is all about the ones that brought justice to them, and I can speak for them. They're ecstatic about it too, on both sides. I mean, because they have to walk that road with them, and it is. I can't imagine sitting at a red light, asking myself, "Are you the one that hurt my wife, or my sister, or my mama?" Now you don't have to wonder that. So I think we've said enough.
Yeah.
So
Just realize we're working together to serve you better.
that's right. Thank you.